chill computer guy. We are here in Propellerhead Reason. Alright, here's what we're looking at. We're looking at the Blackpool station. This is a rack extension. Here it is on Propellerhead, the Propellerhead web shop here for the rack extensions. You'll see the Blackpool station Polyphonic Synthesizer. The reason I'm reviewing this is because it's 20 bucks, you know. Some of the price of these rack extensions are just over the top. I mean, the thing is every dime you put into these rack extensions, you're committing yourself to Propellerhead Reason. So I have kind of a $20 to $50 threshold. It's just, so I'll only review rack extensions that are probably $20 or less. The greatest thing about the rack extensions, my favorite thing about them, is the fact that you can just try them uninhibited for 30 days. Before you actually commit to buying them. That's pretty cool. Here we are back in Propellerhead Reason. We have the black hole station right here loaded up. So we have the default patch here. Let's take a listen. As far as the UI goes on this, I'm having a hell of a time. If you're gonna recreate something, why would you put light glare? I know that maybe you're trying to make it look real but I can't. I'm like my eyes. And here's the thing: I have this on 1080. I normally do 1440, and I could not even do this this review in 1440 because this is. Think about the UI when you create these rack extensions. Think everybody's running at 1440. You know, and that's another thing that with the rack extensions I don't like is you're confined to a small UI. So the more complicated you make it, the less. But this thing, it's got like a simulated light glare or something going on. I'm like, yeah. So the UI scores a little low in my opinion. It's just really hard to see what's going on. The sound's not bad. Let's go ahead and do a reset device, and you just start out with that, and then you take these two off because you just want to work with just one oscillator. This is a really good way to show what the synth can do. You get your 16 sine. Now it doesn't auto update, so you got to let off the key to see the next one. There's a pulse width. Is there a pulse width? No, that's key track. Wave table. So these are not octave specific. These wave tables sound pretty good. Now let's go down to the voicing and Oscillator 1 X7 bypass. What the fuck's that mean? X7 bypass. I'm gonna click that off. So we're getting some voicing there. We detune it. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. Let's go down to the filter, check that out. Okay, so this is the envelope amount on the filter cutoff and the filter resonance. So this is the envelope here. the smoothness. I like that parameter. SMT. That smoothens the filter. That's pretty neat. I like that knob. Very sharp. Turn it up all the way. You can barely hear the filtering. So it's the same filter slope, but it's been smoothed out, so that's pretty nice. So yeah, the voicing, alright, the filter, alright. Let's check out this. Looks like a distortion. The distortion actually sounds pretty good. Ooh, nice and fuzzy there. That's just a nice sounding fuzzy bass right there. Alright, so you got a spread here. You don't really want this with a bass patch, but let's see if I can... how do you just turn... Oh, bypass right here. So everything has a nice little bypass button. I like that bypass button. Okay, so that shape, that's bypassing the distortion right there. The width, the gain, the frequency. I don't know what this band 1 shit is. I have to look at that. That's probably something later on in the synth, but that has to do with a separate... So here's your spread right here. That's pretty nice. See how that knob's bent? That's pretty cool. Alright, Haas effect. It's going to give you super wide for your pad. Once you put some voices on that, it should work out pretty good. Oh man, what the fuck's going on? So there's an LFO. What can you assign it? Oh, you have to scroll through. Oh my god, are you serious? What? Volume, pan, tune? What's this? Sample, start? Wait a minute. How do you route this? Is there a matrix? Can you not route the LFO? How do you route that shit? I don't know. Alright, let's skip it. I don't know. Alright, let's reset this thing again. Alright, let's check out this ring. This got me pretty excited. A little ring modulator here. That's pretty cool. I like that. Let's control click that. There's a comb filter. Is this automatically on or what? Oh, comb filter link. So it's clear the fuck over here. So basically how this works is everything is routed over here on the far left, which is a little confusing. Comb filter links, so oscillator 1, 2, the sub oscillator, and also the ring modulator are all being routed into the comb filter. That sounds pretty shitty. Alright, let's check out the effects. Alright, let's reset it. Let's check out the phaser. Yeah! So we can do some extreme phasing here. That's the phaser. Let's check out the limiter. Soft mode. Yeah. Distortion. Oh, that wasn't even on. It's hard to tell if it's on or on. That's a little dirty distortion. Alright, there's a chorus. It's hard to tell if these are on or off, by the way. Four voice chorus. Ooh, that's a dirty little note. Alright, let's check out this delay. Oh my God. Let's put some feedback in there. Get a little loop going. Oh, that's what's going on. There's more stuff. Oh wow, okay, so you can, how do you change this shit? How do you change it? Oh, you could push up and down. Oh, that's trippy. Alright, let's turn that all off because it's time for the reverb. The reverb. My God! Oh my God! Not a bad little synth. The effects actually sound pretty good. You have a filter right at the end here, so you can put everything through a filter, which is actually kind of neat because you can kind of filter your entire signal. It's kind of a filter right on the end of the chain, which is, here's the sound before, and here's the filtered. Yeah, not a bad synth at all. There's issues I do have, like I was saying with the user interface. The routing's confusing. First off, the comb filter, the routing actually jumps down to this box down here. So these are what is routed through the comb filter. Now it's very hard to tell if these are on or off, which is another UI issue. But just remember that you're routing oscillator 1 to the sub and the ring modulator all to the comb filter when these are turned on. Now the LFO's very confusing as well. I have sample start, tune, pan, volume. Those are the only 4 options I have. Now I don't see a modulation matrix, so I don't know how else you would actually route this LFO to any of the parameters. Now it says LFO link here, and then it says feed, which is again very confusing. So the routing is a little confusing. Speaking from a clearly logical point of view, the routing for the LFO is confusing. I don't understand it, but from what I can tell, it can only be routed to the volume, the pan, which is right left, the tune, which is the oscillator tune, and then sample start. So yeah, that part's super confusing. That's kind of where it dropped off for me. But as far as the effects, they sound pretty good. Let's check out the envelopes real quick. We actually didn't cover the envelopes. Let's go ahead and right click reset device. You'll see the amp envelope, the normal ADSR envelope. We have a hold parameter in the middle. So let's see how snappy this envelope is here. You can hold, go into the K. Well, there it goes. Drag that whole... Oh, that's a son of a bitch. You got to put a lock. But yeah, when you drag these parameters, you'll notice the whole synth comes out of place. Real pain in the ass. Let's bring the attack down. So we're going to go with a no attack and then a little bit of a hold there. Pretty snappy envelope, and then the filter envelope is right below there. So this spaces tab, oh, that's like a, what is that? Like a, this must be a global reverb. So it says spaces. There's a lot of odd little bells and whistles in this synthesizer, which I guess are unique to it. If they're selling points or not, I don't know. But this spaces tab, from what I can tell, is like a global reverb. But you have a reverb right here, which you have to assign globally as well. So all these effects are global. You can't, kind of presets for reverb presets is how I would define them. They give you a sense that you're you're amplifying in several different spaces. You got mute space, liquid, delay, express, delay, reso, verb, black plate, repeat, delay, echo, verb, all galactic space, reverse space, robo, verb, running, delay. Pretty cute. This is basically like, it looks like a filter that comes right before the effects. So you actually have a filter feeding into your mixers up here on the right, which I just now noticed. So and then you have your global effects, which are, like I say, global, and then your final, another filter here at the very end to filter your final signal. So what's going on with that sub oscillator? Oh, it's a high-pitched sub oscillator. I don't really. Ooh, that's pretty dirty bass right there. All right, we'll go over some quick presets, and then we're going to call it a day here. There's the octave bass. How about slow machine? How about bloody guns? That's a nice name for a preset. Bus bass, cracked transistor, distorted dreamer. Check that out. There's the motor ship run. Okay. Sub bus sub 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 bus sub. It's like when you sub it, you put it into a. Oh yeah, that's pretty nice. You put it into a bus, then you sub it again. That's actually a pretty dirty. That's a pretty tight sounding bass. Sounds like just a bunch of sine waves a little bit there. There's Tiger bass. How about Worm BS? Or that's Wom BS and then Worm BS. Alright, so some effects patches. Alright, there's B Police DPFX. Wow, blasters. Check out. Oh yeah, get me out of there. Alright, we got keys. So we have the bass, the effects. We went through those. Keys. There's B Santa Terra. That's actually a pretty tight key set right there. That I really like. There's some pretty good presets in this here. Jeez, that could almost be a pad. Nice stuff. Let's check out some leads. Double lead LD. Nice, that's beautiful. That's a pretty good one. Never lead. Oh my God. Yeah, this synth has some really decent presets. I would say just by scrolling through these presets that this is worth the $20 price tag. Yeah, the presets are pretty good. Sine, slow motion. Check out one more quick thing. Let's flip this thing over on the back. You can see what we have is schematics of the basic structure of the synthesizer. We also have a sequencer control for your CV. You got your gate, your CV. Gate is your on-off. CV is your velocity. You probably already knew that. And then we have an audio output. So we have pretty much zero CV inputs as far as being able to modulate this externally. So yes, the modulation is fairly limited. But yeah, the UI I think is not that great. They have a simulated light glare, which I think distracts. You can't really see. Again, with a 1440 monitor, this is almost unusable as far as being able to see what you're doing. The routing is all over the place. The routing is pretty confusing, even for the most logical-minded person. The oscillators sound pretty good, but getting through them, the way you have to click this arrow a million times. I mean, each of the oscillators has, if you go down here, you know, you have like 4 octaves of each of a sine wave, 4 octaves of triangle, 4 octaves of saw, and then you have a bunch of, and you can't just, there's no drop down. You have to basically click this arrow, quite a few times to get to the wave you're looking for. The voicing sounds all right, not great. The filter's pretty good. I like the distortion, really dirty, really fuzzy. Again, I would probably, if I were sound designing, I would use this for basses, for using that, getting that nice dirty kind of, fuzzy shag carpet kind of dirty bass, that griddly, little griddle, little low end stuff, because it does have a lot of character in the low end. You got 2 oscillators, sub oscillator. Like I say, the routing is confusing. You only have 2 envelopes, one for the amp, which is global. All 3 oscillators feed into it, plus the ring, the comb filter. Everything goes into the amp envelope. It's hardwired. The filter envelope controls the resonance and the cutoff simultaneously. You do have a symmetry knob, which smooths out the filter, which is very unique to this synthesizer, which I really do like. Spaces is just some random secondary global reverb thing. Again, I think it's trying to be gives it a little character, but I don't really get it. You got pre-effects, so you can filter everything down before you go into your effects, and you have a final filter here at the end. As far as the effects, they sound good. I think they sound pretty good. The reverb sounds pretty tight. They're not insanely great, but they're not horrible either. They're usable, and then a mixer up top. Now, what makes me think these effects are great and usable and the oscillators sound great is when I go through the presets. I'm very impressed by the presets. You have a good 300-400 presets in there, all for basses, effects, keys, lead, pads, and a couple of combinator patches in there as well. So all in all, I think you're getting a lot for the money. Down here, it's $19 right here at the Propellerhead web shop. It's a rack extension. It's called Black Hole Station Polyphonic Synthesizer. A new polyphonic synthesizer for Reason Propellerhead, based on 68 waveforms and 5 oscillators, plus 3 sub-oscillators, 7 detuned saw square waveforms. So apparently that detuning you can only use on the waveforms. I don't know, maybe not. Now device contains 4 ROMs. Synthesizers contain 1 bass, 1 sub, noise, and ring oscillator. 3 oscillators contain additional X7 oscillator, sub-oscillator. Black pull includes classic analog waveforms, sine, triangle, sawtooth, pulse, square, and digital waveforms. That's the wave tables, basically. Lead pad, drones, one-shot samples, and cycle loops. Flexible system of oscillators, filters, LFOs, envelopes, effects, and other elements of synthesizer helps us name it Black Hole Station. I think this is why the presets are so good. This is a preset synthesizer, in my opinion. As far as the user interface, as far as sound designing, it's a little off limits. It's really hard to get in there and work with because they do pack so much shit into one synth. But the thing is that makes the presets very usable. So would I recommend this? If you're a Propellerhead user only, I would recommend spending $20 on this. I think you're getting every penny's worth just because the presets are so strong. And again, you can go into some of the presets, hit a single key, and be very, very inspired to actually build a whole entire song off a preset. So yeah, check it out. Chill Computer Guy, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, give a thumbs up. We'll see you next week.